Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are the co-hosts of Jumping Bomb Audio, the #1 show all about the world of Joshi Pro Wrestling. Episodes drop every other Monday where we discuss the biggest Joshi news, review shows, and preview the hottest upcoming Joshi action.
So whether you're a new fan or an old fan, we've got something here for you at Jumping Bomb Audio.
Check us out on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Owning a boat comes with a number of perks, like being able to fling your favorite fishing rod around. And here's another perk. Geico's boat insurance covers your boat and your belongings. And with specialist support from agents that are as passionate about boating as you are, there's so much value that you'll want to high-five someone. But not while you're holding your fishing rod. That's a prized possession. So hold on tight with both hands and keep it covered through boat insurance. Get more with Geico.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Andrew Rich, joined today by a first-time guest on the show. She is a friend of the website, Erin Quinn. Hello, Erin.
Hey, Andrew, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. We've known each other online for several years now, actually, but this is our first time doing any podcasting together, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Pretty thrilled. I always hear your name at the end of every podcast I listen to, so it's really great to share audio space with you now.
Yeah. Well, we are both former champions of the 5-star match game, and I know you were on the most recent episode last month about AEW. You didn't win, sadly, I know, but it was a good, respectful effort on your part, Erin, I think.
Yeah, respectful. Yeah. That's what we'll call that. If you listen to my performance, you can chart out the times when I was really dialed into AEW and the times when I was not. So,
fair enough. Yeah, well, it's that darn Matt Feuerstein. He won that episode, and I played against him on the Royal Rumble episode many years ago, and he beat me then too. So he's one smart cookie, that's for sure.
Yeah, I believe he named every single person who's ever been in the Royal Rumble since its inception. So,
well, today's episode here, Erin, it's a fun one. It's called Gimmick Names, because in wrestling, most wrestlers have a gimmick name or a character name that they use that's different than their real names. So Hulk Hogan instead of Terry Bollea, or Randy Savage instead of Randy Poffo, or my favorite, Ricky Steamboat instead of Richard Blood. Which would also be an amazing wrestling name there. But these gimmick names, they're not just a good way to separate the wrestling character from the real person, but the names themselves can be just as memorable and distinct as the characters they're portraying. So, Bam Bam Bigelow, for example, that's a name you're going to remember. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Abdullah the Butcher, Dump Matsumoto. Like, these are some good-ass names. So it's an important part of the character for sure, Erin.
I refuse to believe that Dump is not a shoot name. So,
well, I mean, there are some cases where guys do use their real name. Bryan Danielson, Will Ospreay, Randy Orton, Bret Hart, Bruno Sammartino, because their names still sound good as wrestling names. But that's not true for, most other people. Shawn Michaels is a way better name than Michael Hickenbottom, or AJ Styles versus Alan Jones, or Big Van Vader versus Leon White. Oftentimes the wrestling name is just better than the real name, Erin.
That's certainly true. They look better on gear. They sound better coming out of an announcer's mouth. Yeah, they're more memorable. Sometimes you just want something the fans can chant. And It makes it easier when you're out on the street, maybe. I don't know. What's something someone can scream to you from across the way? Hey, I don't know.
Hickenbottom, yeah, it's
Hickenbottom.
again, it's not as smooth as Shawn Michaels, I guess, but gimmick names, they're not just a thing in wrestling, they're also a thing in other entertainment worlds, stage names as they're called in movies and TV and music. And today we are playing songs by artists who use stage names, whether solo or in a band, because like in wrestling, the stage name can just sound cooler and better than your actual name. Bob Dylan, David Bowie, The Edge, or The Cope, as it might be called nowadays. Or it can be like the gimmick of a band itself, like the Ramones. Yeah, there's no shortage of stage names to choose from, Erin, that's for sure.
Yeah, this actually left it open for a whole wide range of selections and genres. You can kind of go wild with this one, and so I know I tried to find some individual artists as well as some bands, because like you said, there are certainly bands that have a whole thing. I immediately think of Guar when I think of
Right,
bands that
yeah.
have pseudonyms. Um, Tend to think about those kind of gimmick bands that have a whole lore around them. So the Malachi Blacks of music.
Of
so to
course,
speak.
yes. Yeah, well, we have 10 picks each and a play-out song at the end. And the way that I made my picks here, my rule was it had to be a new name in some way. It can't just be a shortened version of their name. So no Madonna, no Prince, no Rihanna. There has to be some new element to the name or just a new name entirely. Were you thinking that as well, by any chance, Erin?
Yeah, that seemed to make the most sense. I think doing anything other than that would have left it way open. That's one reason why I didn't throw in some David Bowie in here. It just seemed way too close. So I think that was a good parameter to go with. It at least limited it somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Well, you are the guest today, Erin. You'll go first. What's your first pick?
Yeah, so I wanted to start out. I didn't actually put these in any kind of order. I didn't know this was going to be the order they went in. So let me just pull up my tab here. This was an artist. I'm not on social media that much as far as posting a whole bunch, and I'm certainly not on the TikTok a lot, but this was an artist I discovered through queer TikTok. This is a artist who identifies as non-binary. Their name is Boy Jr., so definitely a pseudonym there. And this is a song off their album Seesh. It's called Shapes and Colors.
It's none of your business. Now is it if you could see me the way I really am? You finally understand. Not a woman who I'm not a man. I'm just a bunch of shapes and colors. Shapes and colors.
So yeah, I chose this for a couple of reasons. It's actually a nice intersect. There is definitely a lot of music that I listen to that can sometimes at least get my interest because it intersects with queer culture or queer politics or just supporting other artists who identify either as LGBTQ or trans or gender nonconforming, which Boy Jr. definitely does. But really what hooks me in beyond that, because there's certainly a lot of, artists in the LGBTQ area that I don't listen to, is I've always been a really huge fan of a really great hook, a great power pop song, whether it be Matthew Sweet or the Gin Blossoms, more established, really power pop centric artists. having that really good mix of drum, guitars, and just a solid song structure and just an undeniable hook. And I think this song has a great hook with the chorus. It's something you can sing along with that I certainly blast in the car, but also when you dive into the lyrics, I think it's a really good kind of distillation down about the feelings of being yourself and not conforming to any part of the gender spectrum at all, and just kind of saying, whatever, this is who I am, take it or leave it, it's not really your business, as the lyrics say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a bunch of your picks, Erin, this is my first time listening to Boy Jr., and this song is going right in my rotation. I loved it a lot. I love the melody, the hook. They have a good voice. There's a good message, like you said, about, being open with who you are. I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I'm just a bunch of shapes and colors. And the talent is there for sure. And it feels like with more exposure, this could be a real hit, Erin.
Yeah, they've been grinding at it for quite a while. They have a lot of songs about different internet culture and different memes. I know they just put out a new record last year. This one's from, I believe, 2023. But yeah, it's a certifiable banger. And I try to any of my friends who fall along the gender spectrum and like music, I try to say, hey, check out this artist. Like, they're cool and support them, but also it's a solid tune. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of a recurring theme of the episode as well. Maybe not intentionally, but we do have a decent amount of either LGBTQ artists or allies or gay icons here today. So, we've got Pride out the wazoo here, Erin. How about that?
Not even June, so.
Exactly. So, so my first pick here, this is a lady named Alicia Moore, better known as Pink. Or if I say it the way it's spelled, P! Punk. This is from Pink's Greatest Hits album called Greatest Hits So Far. And this song is called Raise Your Glass.
Right, turn off the lights. We gonna lose our minds tonight. What's the dealio? I love when it's all too much. 5 a.m. turn the radio up. Where's the rock and roll? Party crasher, penny snatcher. Call me up if you a gangster. Don't be fancy, just get dancy. Why so serious? So raise your glass if you are wrong in all the right ways. On the underdogs, we will never be anything but loud and nitty gritty, dirty little freaks. Won't you come on and raise your glass? Just come on and raise your glass. Slam, slam, oh hot damn. What part of party don't you understand? Wish you just.
Don't get fancy, just get dancy. What a line there. That song is emblematic of Pink's whole oeuvre, which is, strong pop songs with a rock edge. Pink's always had that tough girl quality about her, which separated her from her contemporaries like, Britney or Christina. And this song is about celebrating her fans and all that good stuff. Are the lyrics a bit corny? Sure. What's the dealio? Slam, slam, oh hot damn. But it's all in good fun, and it's all worth it for that triumphant chorus, Erin.
Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. Instantly. Because I kind of put all the songs that we chose, I just kind of put them on a random rotation on my phone while I was driving around. And you can immediately tell, I'm like, oh, this is the Pink song. And the lyrics are fun. I like someone saying, what's the dealio? That always puts a smile on my face. I like the call out to The Dark Knight saying, why so serious? Because Pink is nothing if not a jokester. I could instantly tell this was a Pink song. It's something you'd roll the windows down and pump your fist a little and have a really good time.
Mm-hmm. And, she's been doing it for quite a while, too, 25, 30 years at this point, I think. And I'm just surprised that she hasn't done a Super Bowl halftime show yet. I know she sang the anthem a few years ago, but not the halftime show itself. And she's got the catalog for it. She's got the hits.
Yeah.
And she has the stage presence, too. I mean, I know her stage shows can get kind of wild with, like, the trapeze work and the acrobatics and all that stuff. So, yeah, if they're looking for next year's performer, I'd say go with Pink, Erin, you know?
Yeah, why not?
But what's your next pick there, Erin?
Next pick is one of I feel like this might be a little divisive, and if you were to ask me, it wouldn't have been like the song I picked from this artist to spotlight, but I had my reasons. This is from an artist with the birth name Krista Pofgen, better known as Nico. This song is off the album of the same name. It's called Chelsea Girls.
Here they come now, see them run now. Here they come now, Chelsea girls. Pepe, she's having fun. She thinks she's some man's son. Her perfect loves don't last, her future died in someone's past. Here they come now, see them run now. Here they come now, Chelsea girls.
So this song, like a lot of songs on this album, was written by Lou Reed, most famously of the Velvet Underground. Other albums on this song, there's a Jackson Browne song, Bob Dylan, and a few other artists who contributed. Not necessarily Nico necessarily writing the songs themselves. I chose this for a couple of reasons. One, because Lou Reed is one of my favorite songwriters, so I wanted to find something by his sung by another artist. Nico is certainly integral to the original Velvet Underground album. She sings, I believe, 2 or 3 songs on there, and then she would, for a while, collaborate with Lou Reed and John Cale far into her solo career. And this song is not my favorite song of hers, but it is essentially just chronicling things that happen in the Andy Warhol film Chelsea Girls, which was an underground art house film in the late 60s that Warhol released, filmed in the Chelsea Hotel in New York. And this is just a song describing, I believe, things that just are showcased in that 3-hour film, which you can sometimes catch on museum showcases or other institutions that spotlight Warhol's art. But it's very typical Nico. She has this very haunting, low-pitched voice. She has this very icy way of singing. And I think this demonstrates that, even if the music itself is kind of the same for what feels like 5 or 6 minutes, and the lyrics are just a list of things that are happening.
Yeah, going from Pink to Nico is quite the jump there, because her voice and her singing style are so different from that, and they don't really get me going either. Now, obviously, like you said, she's a big part of the Bohemian scene and Warhol and the Velvet Underground and that whole first album. Very important, but it's not really my whole thing either, that kind of scene. If I'm being honest, you know, the background of this song and this album is more interesting to me than the actual music, because, yeah, most of the Underground are on the album. Jackson Browne's on the album, and the sound is very folky and avant-garde and sparse, but apparently that was not what Nico wanted. She wanted drums, she wanted more guitars, and the producer, Tom Wilson, said no. And instead we get flute. Lots of flute. And Nico hated the flute most of all. It apparently made her cry. So, yeah, it's just funny how in the decades after this album has come out, people have gone on to just, you know, praise it. But Nico wasn't one of them, I guess, Erin.
There's a lot of songs that I like on this. Fairest of the Seasons, These Days. Her version of I'll Keep It With Mine, I do really like. I think there's even Lou Reed songs where he kind of chronicles people doing things that he does to much better effect lyrically. Most famously, I believe, Walk on the Wild Side is kind of the same list of Warhol people doing things more successfully in a song. But I wanted to get something on here that could wrap up kind of this whole scene and this artist, because I do really like her voice and her music when I'm in the right mood.
Yeah, this is definitely music for the right mood. This is not like an anytime, anywhere kind of thing. Definitely.
I do a lot of Lyft driving, and so sometimes I think, oh, okay, this is not a Lyft driving song.
No.
I cannot shuffle people in the Uber while this is happening.
No, I don't think so. No. Well, my next pick here, this is Alice Cooper. And Alice Cooper was originally the name of the band, and then the band broke up, and the lead singer, Vince Fournier, kept the name as his own for a solo career. This is a deep cut from the 1980 album Flush the Fashion. This song is called Grim Facts.
The boy's got stress. The boy's got a 38 hidden in his desk. The boy's got a chicken with 4 months to go. Reading facts and preparing better know. The girl's a heavy teaser, wants to do a private show. Got 100,000 fantasies she wants the band to know. She likes to brush across my Levi's and likes to watch me grow. Reading facts and preparing better know. Facts, every better know. Red lights, green lights, moving in the heat. Concord gay bars on your precious sweet. That is so neat. Sisters on the street now looking for some Joe. Only got about an hour.
So I'm a big fan of Alice Cooper. He's such an important figure in rock in terms of, shock rock and the theatrics of his concerts and all that stuff. But the music is still great on its own, too. And Alice certainly has his lane, which is taking the darker elements of society, the macabre, and making an entertaining song out of it. And that's true here, too. This song is about all of the nasty things that teens are getting up to on their own with, teen pregnancy and prostitution and guns and gangs, all of the grim facts every parent better know. But it's told in like this zippy rock tune. The producer is Roy Thomas Baker, who also produced Queen and The Cars. So it has that clean, new wavy rock sheen on it. So if you only know Alice's hits from the early 70s, or from his comeback later in the 80s, I'd say check out his other stuff too. He's got a giant catalog, I think like 30 albums or whatever, somewhere around there. And you'll find all sorts of nice hidden gems like this one, Erin.
Yeah, I really like this. I'm not as familiar with Alice Cooper, aside from, of course, WrestleMania 3, I think he might have been at. Was it WrestleMania 3? It might have been.
Yep.
I know Ozzy was at WrestleMania. Were they both there? I don't know.
Ozzy was Mania 2. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought this was a really good after-school special for parents. If I heard this as a parent in the 1980s, I would be very worried about my children. And as I was kind of rocking out listening to this, I'm like, oh, you know what? I think these problems are all still going on to this day. I don't know. I think the children of today are getting caught up in all of these issues, but I do like, it's a good rockin' tune. I think the lyrics grab your ear because of the subject matter that they're talking about, and it's almost a nice contrast of just the guitars are very zippy, the tune is just kind of breezing by, but it's about a lot of really serious issues here. But not necessarily like condemnation of anything, just kind of raising awareness. So maybe some parents heard this and got their kids out of trouble. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you made it nowadays, this song would include references to, I don't know, the TikToks and the skibbity toilets and all the crazy things that the kids are getting into nowadays, I guess. But yeah, Alice, he's still going strong today. You know, he's still touring at 77 years old, which is amazing because he's someone who had his fair share of demons back in the day. In fact, around this time, he was nursing a cocaine habit, and it got so bad that the next 3 albums he did after this one, he has no memory of recording them at all. Oh. He was so zonked out on cocaine that the next 3 albums are considered his blackout albums. Now, that's a lot of drugs. So, thank God he's sober and still with us, Erin, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's great. That he's still with us, not the drugs.
Right. But yeah, what's your next pick there, Erin?
I would have been remiss if I didn't select this artist for people who use stage names and also being someone who has a lot of queer pride. One of the current icons of queer culture, of course, Stephanie Joanne and Angelina, also known as Lady Gaga. This is the title track from her 2013 album, Art Pop.
Come to me in all your glamour and cruelty. Just do that thing that you do, and I'll undress you. Keep it tight. Sometimes the simplest move is right. The melody that you choose can rescue you. A hybrid can withstand these things. My heart can beat with bricks and strings. My art pop could mean anything. We could belong together. We could belong together. We could belong together. Art pop, art pop.
So I went with this because it is the title track of what's probably my favorite Gaga album, even if I've kind of fallen off of listening to her the last couple of years, and I haven't fully dived into Mayhem, which just released, I think, last week. But I like how this song takes a look at the subjectivity of art. My art pop could be anything. She's certainly shown that by making transformations in her style and her appearance. Since I couldn't put David Bowie on this list, I did want to make sure to shout her out for her ability to, at times, transcend styles. Here with a very techno-like club feeling, but of course she's worked with Tony Bennett. She did a bunch of standards for the Joker soundtrack, Joker 2, and she's always moved between different fashion styles, musical styles, changing up a lot in her artistry, and I think that's something that's really important something you can do when you have a stage name that doesn't necessarily lock you into anything. So that's why I just kind of went with this to represent kind of the fluidity of her art and her music and her style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her last name is Germanata, so the good Italian girl there.
I might have bailed out of pronouncing that.
Yeah, but yeah, good timing on your part there because she just hosted SNL, and yeah, her new album just came out too. So good timing. Now, as far as this song goes, it's good. I like the style of it, that more electronica sound. It is funny though. I was listening to it and I was thinking, this is still a bit tame for Gaga standards because she's someone who just loves to go bonkers out there with the outfits, the performances, the music videos, all that stuff. And, I had just watched the video for Abracadabra, and that thing is insane. So by comparison, this is not as Gaga as Gaga could be, I guess. But I still like it, Aaron.
I enjoy a nice groove, especially in the middle of an album, kind of to bridge between the two sides. Also, I think the song right before this is a R. Kelly featured song. I think she might have. I don't know if that one's still on the album anymore, but I kind of like a song like this that has just a nice groove in between the first side and the second side of a disc. But I definitely understand that sentiment.
Yeah, and I mentioned on the last episode that when I was younger, I wasn't really into the Bee Gees because I was a rock and a metal guy. And then when I got older, I grew to like them. Same thing with Gaga. When she first came on the scene, I was like, it's not my thing. But I've come around. I'm not a little monster. I'm not that big a fan, but I do like a bunch of her songs, and she is undeniably talented, Aaron. That's for sure.
It takes me a long time to come around and get hip with the kids. Like I mentioned earlier, I still listen to the Gin Blossoms, and that's their hits were multiple decades ago. Only in the last month did I hear Chapel Roan, so I'm still catching up with what everyone's listening to these days.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's keep up with the current trends here and play a song from just the other day, 2004. This is a band from New York called the Scissor Sisters. And it's got band members like Jake Shears, get it? Shears, Scissors. Anna Matronic, Baby Daddy, Patty Boom. This is from their self-titled debut album. This is Take Your Mama.
All the girls that seem to like you, 'cause you're handsome, like to talk and a whole lot of fun. But now your girl is gone missing and your house has got an empty bed. The folks will wonder about the wedding, they won't listen to a word you said. We're gonna take your mama out all night, yeah, we'll show her what it's all about. We'll get her jacked up on some cheap champagne, we'll let the good times all roll out. And if the music ain't good, well it's just too bad, we're gonna sing along no matter what. Because the dancers don't mind at the New Orleans, if you tip them and they make a cut. Do it! Take your mama out all night, so she'll have no doubt that we're doing all the best we can. Gonna do it! Take your mama out all night. You can stay up late, 'cause baby, you're a full-grown man.
So just in case the name didn't clue you in, this is an openly and proudly gay band. Multiple members are gay. Super bombastic, colorful, racy sexual performances on stage. And the original name of the group was Dead Lesbian and the Fibrillating Scissor Sisters. So they were, even more on the nose with it at the start of the band, I guess. But putting all that aside, this is such a great song. I love the vocals with Jake's falsetto range and the dancey groove to it. And it's based on a serious topic. I guess it's inspired by Jake Shears coming out to his parents, which was not a good experience for him. But he was able to turn that into just a really, really fun song here, for sure.
Oh, I love this. They're one of my favorite bands. I was so heartbroken when they split a number of years ago. Though they are reforming for tour this year. No, this is a great song. I first got into them with their cover on this album of Comfortably Numb.
Yeah.
Which is just a blast disco version of a very non-disco song. Nothing thrills me more. I love Jake Shears' vocals. I've always loved his falsetto. It's one of my favorites in music. Their whole discography is something that I've always gravitated to. I've been lucky enough to see them in concert while I was living in Austin, and they're just a blast live. They were a terrific band. There actually is a salon in Austin called Scissor Sisters in Austin, Texas. So just a little bit there. I think it's been open for a very long time. So, yeah, love them so much.
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of their other stuff, and there's not that much there either. There's like 4 albums or whatever, but they do have this other song that I was thinking about picking called I Don't Feel Like Dancing, which is amazing. And that Comfortably Numb cover is also great, it's like Pink Floyd meets the Bee Gees. It's wild. So, Scissor Sisters, a bit of a tongue twister name at times, but really, really fun band for sure. But all right, Erin, what is your next pick?
So my next pick is by the artist named Poe. This is from her 2000 album, from her second album, which also so far has been her last main album. From the album called Haunted, this is also the title track.
Come here, pretty please. Can you tell me where I am? Won't you say something? I need to get my bearings. I'm lost, and the shadows keep on changing. And I'm haunted by the lies that I've loved and actions I have hated. I'm haunted by the lies that wove the web inside my haunted head.
So like I said, this is the title track to Poe's second album. She released her first album, self-titled, in 1995, which had some good rotation on MTV for the single Trigger Happy Jack, and got a lot of alternative radio play. I remember hearing it on our alternative station in 1995 and 1996. This album was made kind of in conjunction with her brother's book. If anyone's familiar with the avant-garde horror novel House of Leaves. It was written alongside that, and interspersed, if you listen to the end of this track and a number of the tracks on this album, are recordings of her and her brother Mark's father that they had obtained, and she did a lot of splicing in his audio recordings to them into this album. So you can really feel that there's a lot of pain and loss through this album, as well as trying to tie it into her siblings' fictional work. And I just also wanted to put in here because I think she's known, but not as known as she should be, because her 2 albums are so good. But the rights to her music have been so caught up between the AOL Time Warner merger, and then I think there was a some other record companies or rights holders down here in Texas that had control of her recordings and her music for so long that she's really been unable to record or produce new music until very, very recently for the soundtrack to the video game Alan Wake 2. But for the better part of the last 20 years, it's been pretty quiet on the Poe front, which is just one of those stories about the music industry that just makes my heart hurt, because I think her music is so well done and so beautiful that it's just sad that it's been held up by business interests and mergers and rights disputes.
Yeah, this was really good. It definitely has that late 90s alt-rock chick kind of vibe to it, which I really like. And I was wondering, why have I not heard of this person before? Are they indie? And turns out, no, she was on a major label, Atlantic Records, and her first album went gold. And then, the AOL Time Warner merger happened. They dropped a bunch of artists, including her, and there was a bunch of legal nonsense afterwards. And basically, yeah, her solo career just went kaput, which is wild because that second album was, getting good reviews. She was selling well. She was touring with Depeche Mode, and she was getting ready to do more, and then it just ended. So yeah, it's one of these weird cases where a career gets cut short, not because of some, personal tragedy or early death, but, just a bunch of business nonsense, Erin. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been really unfortunate. She's one of those artists that I kind of put a pin in to check in on every year or so to see if there's been any movement at all. So, just seeing that she made it on a, helped with a video game soundtrack is even like revolutionary. Like, okay, maybe there's a chance finally, like after 25 years, that maybe we could get some more music from her. So it's really just unfortunate. So, but Haunted's a great album. Everyone should check it out. It's really one of those late 90s, early 2000s angry. I don't want to say angry. But in the vein of like your Alanis Morissette's and other powerful female singer-songwriter albums. That's just really fantastic.
Well, my next pick here, this woman was born Anna Mae Bullock, and then she met a guy named Ike Turner. And Ike said, Anna Mae Bullock, that doesn't work for me, brother. So he changed her name to Tina Turner. And this is from Tina's seminal album from 1984 called Private Dancer. And this is one of the big singles from it called Better Be Good to Me.
Prisoner of your love, entangled in your web. Hot whispers in the night. I'm captured by your spell. Oh yes, I'm touched by this show of emotion. Should I be fractured by your lack of devotion? Should I? Should I? Oh, you better be good to me. The time's gotta be now. 'Cause I don't have no use for what you loosely call the truth. And you better be good to me. Yeah, better be good. Come on, be good to me.
So Private Dancer, that was her landmark album, huge hits, huge success. It really cemented her as this giant solo star. And this song is actually a cover. It was originally done by this band called Spider, but even though it wasn't her song to begin with, she still made it her song with that voice and that spark and that personality and with her backstory, with all of the troubles that she had with her and Ike and the marriage and all the abuse and all that stuff. So, her doing a song with lines like, "Yes, I know you keep telling me that you love me, and I really do want to believe. But did you think I'd just accept you in blind faith? Oh, sure, babe. Anything to please you. You better be good to me." So it's a really poignant choice of song there, Erin.
Yeah, I really dug this. I'm not knowing. I feel like I show like ignorance here, not being like knowledgeable totally about Tina Turner's catalog. But this is one that I just put it on and listened, and I really like how everything builds, and the vocals are incredibly powerful. So I just really enjoyed it as listening and enjoying. So learning more about it is really valuable, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, Tina is awesome. I mean, her story is one of triumph, really, because when she and Ike split up, she had all of these debts to pay, and she had to basically start from scratch as a solo artist, and she clawed her way back up to the top, and she became bigger than Ike ever was, and she found love again with a new husband, and they were together until her death a few years ago. So, yeah, R.I.P. Tina, a real legend for sure, Erin. So, but what's your next pick there, Erin?
Okay, so next one, I needed to go with maybe my favorite band of all time. Possibly a silly choice for favorite band of all time. but also a band whose logo you can find on some of the Motor City Machine Guns gear, because they are a longtime Detroit staple, the Electric Six, and this is a song off their album. Pardon. I Will Silence Anything That Prevents Me from Becoming the Master. This is a very popular song of theirs, especially in concert, Down at McDonald's.
Says you feel so close to miss the sun. There's something you ought to know. Sometimes she says it's marches at the golden arches, and that's what we're here for.
He said my people need a place to go. My people need a place to go. People need a place to go. People need a place to go. Now everybody down at McDonald's and down at McDonald's, and now they hitting the bottle and everybody cool. Now everybody down at McDonald's and down at McDonald's, and now they hitting the bottle and everybody cool. The leader gonna make you party, preventing you from departing. Party, party, the leader's mine. He said my people need a place to go. My people need-
Now, this is, of course, one of those bands they have. The lead singer goes by Dick Valentine, Johnny Nashel, Tate Nucleus, Herb S. Flavorings, Dr. J, and a lot of their past members have also taken nom de plumes as members of the band. They originally formed back as far as 1996. Dick Valentine has had other bands like A Dirty Shame, and they're just this combination of sometimes a little bit of disco, a little bit of punk, a lot of new wave, a little bit of garage rock, and they've just been a staple of touring and the Detroit scene while amassing a pretty large cult fan base and that have allowed them to release, around 20 studio albums for the longest time. They were releasing one album a year and then just touring to support it, along with live albums and rarities and Kickstarters. They're just insanely prolific and very fun. Just one of my favorite bands of all time. And it was hard to just pick one song, but I wanted to pick something that's kind of stayed in the concert set list. And as a former fast food employee for about 15 years or so, the tale of hanging out outside the McDonald's about closing the shop and how people can congregate around the fast food restaurant is something that really just sings to my heart. So that's why I went with this one. But yeah, they're just a great band. They're just so much fun.
Yeah, I know Electric Six from a couple of other songs. Danger, High Voltage, which is a good one. That was actually Spanky's theme in ROH back in the day. And another song, Gay Bar, as well. So there you go. They can be quite over the top, from what I've heard. And this lines up with that for sure. I mean, it's a song about a guy working at McDonald's, about to close up for the night, and this gang comes in and holds him there against his will. That sounds like an absolute nightmare scenario for me. That sounds absolutely horrible. But in song form, it's quite fun, Erin.
Yeah, in song form, that's a good time. I never got held up working, but of course, Danger High Voltage is most famously for having an uncredited Jack White on the vocals. And yeah, they went on from that. I've had friends that assume they were a gay band because of Gay Bar. And I've had to say, no, they're really not. It's just a song about going to a gay bar. They're definitely not a queer-themed band. They just write about whatever happens at the moment. They're a fun live show. All their albums are really a good time. I recommend anyone check them out. You can drop anywhere into the catalog and find a couple of bangers.
Mm-hmm. I just love some of the other band names here. Surge, Jobot, The Rock and Roll Indian, Hypercube Bonanza, all the stars are here. It's great.
Chikara band names.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, my next pick here, this is a band with not just gimmick names, but actual gimmicks. Because Stanley Eisen is Paul Stanley, the Star Child. Chaim Witz is Gene Simmons, the Demon. Paul Freely is Ace Freely, the Spaceman. And George Peter Criscuola is Peter Criss, the Catman. It's Kiss, baby. It's Kiss. And this is from their self-titled debut album from '74. This is the opening track, Strutter. So the thing about Kiss is they have an all-time look and presentation with the costumes, the makeup, the stage shows. It's all very iconic, and it's a large part of what made them one of the biggest bands ever. The actual music itself is secondary, and it's much more basic than what you see of the band here. Like, this song is a hard rock song. It's a basic, straightforward composition. Don't get too crazy, a little bit of glam thrown in there, some harmonies, and it's about a woman and sex. Boom! There you go. That's the template for almost every Kiss song out there. And you know what? That's okay, because it's all about the vibes with Kiss and the experience more than the technical wizardry of the music, Aaron.
I don't know if I'd want to listen to Kiss sing about anything of other than women and sex. I don't need six. I almost said sticks. Kiss putting out a political song at all. I will say, Kiss, we're kind of nearing the middle of the show here. Is this the special main event song for this part of the show?
I get the reference. I get the reference there.
Okay, yeah. Just to tie this into wrestling, I also was trying to figure out what Diva Search contestant would have walked out to this, or which Fargo Fabulous Ones video would have been set to this. But those are the two things that popped into my mind when I listened to this. When this came on, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a Kiss song. Yeah, that girl's strutting. And as a lady, I might have done a little strutting myself. So no, this was fun. This was exactly what I expected when I saw your list. It sounded exactly like I thought it would. And then it gave me lots of warm, fuzzy WCW memories. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, well, this is a wrestling podcast network, so I appreciate the wrestling tie-ins there, Aaron. Thank you for that.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized, so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Owning a boat comes with a number of perks, like being able to say ahoy or land ho and not feel weird about it. So here's another perk. Geico's boat insurance offers access to the largest towing fleet on the water. And with specialist support from agents that are as passionate about boating as you are, there's so much value that you'll want to say, shiver me timbers, and not feel weird about that either. Get more with Geico.
And, just like in wrestling, there are so many wrestlers who aren't the best technical guys in the ring, but they have a money look and a money presentation and a money gimmick. And Kiss is a gimmick band to the point where they gave Ace and Peter's gimmicks to other people. Tommy Thayer, the guitar player, became the Spaceman, and Eric Singer, the drummer, became the Catman. And by the time the band retired, they had those characters longer than Ace and Peter had them. So, yeah, any chance, the guys in Kiss, especially Gene Simmons, can make a buck, they will do so. So they are well suited to the world of wrestling, I think, there, Aaron, for sure.
I have walked through enough Walmart collectible aisles to know that Gene Simmons' face will be plastered on anything.
Amen. Well, what you got next for us there, Aaron?
So I said Electric Six is my favorite band, and that was actually a lie. This is my favorite band. I am fickle with who my favorite band is from day to day. This is a band where also a lot of the band members take pseudonyms. It was founded by Rob Sprague and Jake Black, going by the names Larry Love and the very Reverend Dr. D. Wayne Love. It is a British band most famously known for doing the theme song to The Sopranos, which I'm sure they're still enjoying the royalties to this day. But this is a song off their third album, Power in the Blood. It's called Rehab, spelled R-E-H-A-B.
Well, hey, I was down in A. Business was bouncing like back in the day. Hypocrites hiding habits all over town. Pop stars gushing about the faith they found. Left me so cold, I walked out in the rain. Waited all day for that midnight train. I've been so long, I've been feeling so bad. I'm gonna blow away the blues tonight. Cause sometimes the light don't shine. That's the time we gotta open our eyes. Yeah. Sometimes the light don't shine. You and me, baby, gonna get rehabilitated. Sometimes the light don't shine. That's the time we gotta open our eyes. Yeah. Sometimes the light don't shine. You and me, baby, gonna get rehabilitated.
R is for the recovery you're gonna make in my sumptuous retreat in the hills. E is for how I'm gonna enable you to cure all of your ills. H is for the hurt and heartache that I'm gonna help you lose. A, assessment successful. B, goodbye the blues. The blues. The blues.
Sometimes the light don't shine.
So I went with this song because it was a long time staple of the band live performances going back to 1996 when they first formed. The idea of rehab and drinking and coming back from addiction is kind of built into the lore of the band, as the two founders say that they met in rehab, which is not true. They met at a rave, but it fits into kind of the working class aesthetic, very political nature of the band. They write a lot about British politics, American politics, very worker-focused, labor-focused, in this beautiful fusion of country music and house music and old American standards, and just fusing it into just wonderful bouquet. They're really a terrific band. And this is one song that they played a lot at their live shows, really got the crowd going. There's obviously R-E-H-A-B sing-along that the crowd can do, and it really plays to the whole aesthetics of the whole act. And it's a band I only got to see once because they very rarely now come to the U.S., if ever. But I did catch an acoustic-only show at South by Southwest maybe about a decade ago, and it was really, really a treat.
Yeah, I think like most other people, I know Alabama 3 from one song only, which is Woke Up This Morning, the Sopranos theme, which was not made for the show. It was remixed for the show, but it came out a few years before it. But I should listen to more of these guys because I think they have a great sound. It's like a blues meets acid house meets country style. It's a wild mix. And I looked it up. The original name of the band was the First Presbyterian Church of Elvis the Divine. And they do have this kind of gospel element to them with the background singers and names like the Reverend B. Atwell and Larry Love and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, I do want to listen to more of Alabama 3 because I love the Sopranos theme. I love this song. So I do want to check out more of their stuff, Erin, for sure.
The extended version, the actual studio version of the Sopranos theme, you realize that this was not made for the show when a lot of it is them just listing off blues musicians that they enjoy. Is how that song opens up. They're also a band that, unfortunately, because of the country group Alabama,
right,
was very hard to classify in record stores or find on streaming for a little bit at the very outset of streaming platforms because of legal issues. They went by A3 for the longest time. But whatever got settled there got settled, and you can now find them on streaming platforms as Alabama 3. And they're still putting out music to this day.
Yeah, maybe Tony Soprano paid the band Alabama a visit to, settle some things and sort some things out there, I think, maybe. But my next pick here, I'm going to stay in the Europe zone with this one. This is a French DJ named Vincent Belorgi, otherwise known as Kavinsky. And with this song, I'm going to take us all the way back to 2011 for the opening credits of the movie Drive. And this song played over those credits. It's called Night Call.
I'm giving you a night call to tell you how I feel. I want to drive you through the night, down the hills. I gotta tell you something you don't want to hear. I'm gonna show you where it's dark, but have no fear.
There's something inside you. It's hard to explain. They're talking about you, boy, but you're still the same. There's something inside you. It's hard to explain.
That's Love Fox from the band CSS doing the female vocals there. And let me tell you, I was obsessed with this song when I first heard it. I like the movie, but this was played on a loop on my iPod freshman year of college. Just the synth melody and the chorus and the mood of it all. I love it so much. And both this and the other song from Drive, which was A Real Hero, also got a lot of play. So yeah, my Kavinsky knowledge of his catalog is a bit slim, but this song gets me every time, Erin.
I love this when I heard it. I was listening to everything, and this kind of just hooked my attention, especially when the female vocals comes in. I had to stop myself because I thought, is this some synth band from the 80s I've never heard before? And I looked at them like, oh no, it's not. It just really sounds like that, which I loved. This so atmospheric. I'm not surprised to hear that it was used in a film. And this is an artist that falls into the I need to check out everything else this person has done, because just the atmosphere, and I felt very transported to the start of an 80s movie, or just something you would hear before a Devo comes on or a Pet Shop Boys comes on the radio. I really dug it.
Mm-hmm. And there are a couple of wrestling tie-ins with Kavinsky as well. His song Protovision was Joey Janela's theme on the Indies for many years.
Oh.
And also someone on YouTube made a mashup of this song, Night Call, and Pentagon Jr.'s theme from Lucha Underground. And I remember Penta wrestled Nick Gage on a spring break show one year, and he came out to that mashup, and I lost my damn mind. Like, oh my god, this is amazing! Oh my god! So, some more wrestling tie-ins there for us, Aaron.
Yeah, wonderful choice. Wonderful choice.
So what's next?
We're gonna stay international by going to a country that's really getting into it with the United States right now. Good old Canada. We're gonna go with Canadian MC and hip hop artist Buck 65. This is from his albums. Oh shoot, I forgot. Talkin' Honky Blues. It's a 463.
TV and magazines that have you believe every day is Halloween. Why, when I was a kid, playing in the ditches, living in fear of Satan and the witches. The whole world was made of wood, smelled like gasoline. The days were at least twice as long and the grass was green. Running for my life, was cursed by a talking snake. I'd walk all day and throw rocks across the bottomless lake. There was a killer in the woods who would whistle. Once in a while I could hear him shoot his pistol, and the other kids hated me. But like a martyr, I drove myself harder and harder. Blood in my eyes, scrubbing to get the dirt off. I didn't say much, didn't like to take my shirt off. It was quick, but I didn't know the meaning of pain yet. I'd visit Father Bob and he would show me his train set. Tell me a story, offer me a glass of milk, send me on my way with a question to ask myself. The rain didn't bother me, the search had meaning. Church was good, but I'd rather be dreaming. High speed horseshoes, harnesses, and heavy string. Problem is today they got an answer for everything. 463. An X, an O, and I can't think of a better way to end the day. 463, a yes, an O, and I can't think of a better way to end the day. 463, a punch, a kick, and I can't think of a better way to end the day. 463, it's life, death, and I can't think of a better way to end the day. I'm learning the words.
So Buck 65, aka Richard Turfry, is an artist that I discovered while waiting in line with my fiance at the time so she could meet Tori Amos around 2008 or so. What I really like about the song and what I like in general about his music is it can be very autobiographical. This song essentially is things that he experienced while growing up, whether it's being picked on or visiting his local pastor for advice or to talk. He had a really rural upbringing in Nova Scotia, and I don't know a lot. I'm not the biggest hip hop head, and I'm not, but I did gravitate towards it because a lot like Lou Reed, a lot of the songs either tell stories, be they autobiographical or not. I really like the chorus goes pretty hard. 463 in my research is a reference to a very particular double play in baseball. So maybe Joe or Rich can elaborate on that because I am not a baseball person. But other than that, he says there's another meaning to 463, which he will keep to himself.
Yeah, if you thought Snow was the only Canadian white guy rapper, think again. Because this guy's had a long career.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than 20 albums in his catalog, it looks like. But he was just never able to get that important foothold in the States, really. But we've had some fun songs in this episode so far, and some fun songs about dark subjects and material. This is just dark. If you look up this song on Genius.com and read about the inspiration for the lyrics, he talks about growing up near the woods, and there's an escaped killer on the loose, and there's a priest who's molesting children, and he's getting bullied at school, and the chorus references Nietzsche. And according to Wikipedia, one of his influences is David Lynch, which tracks. So yeah, this is pretty dark stuff, Aaron.
Yeah. Sometimes I get real dark and scary in what I listen to. If anyone's wanting to dig more into his catalog, pretty much from here on out, Secret House Against the World and Situation are two of my favorite albums by him. So I'd really recommend it. But just being able to paint this picture of his life growing up, especially from the perception of how he felt at that time or seeing things through the eyes of someone who was very young. It's not something you can listen to all the time. Like, I don't put on Lou Reed's Berlin all the time because it's depressing, but I think music like this can fit something or a time or a place or sometimes they just go on my writing playlist to listen to while I'm writing something that may not be the most fun.
Mm-hmm. And we should stress, of course, that Buck 65 is no relation to Eiffel 65 with Blue Dubba Dee Dubba Die. Just two totally different things there, Aaron.
Oh, thank you for clearing that up.
So my next song here, this is my most obscure pick of the episode. This is a Northern Irish singer-songwriter named Bridie Mons Watson. Their stage name is Soak, S-O-A-K, all caps, and it's a portmanteau of soul and folk. And this is from their debut album, Before We Forgot How to Dream, and the song is called Sea Creatures.
Stars and moon remind me of you. I don't know what they say. It might make you worse. I don't understand what her problem is. I think she's just a fish. I know you get it bad. You don't deserve this, and I won't put it up with their ignorance. And they tell you they love you, they don't mean it. I don't think they know what they knew. I don't think they know what love is. Throw it around like it's worthless. Don't think they know what love is. I don't get this town, neither do you. We should run away, just me and you. 'Cause I don't get the people here that carry us.
So like Boy Jr., Soak is non-binary, and I only know this one song by them, but I love it enough that I wanted to play it. I first heard it years ago on a podcast, and it just got me. There's a dreamlike quality to it with the vocals and the floaty melody and the strings that come in the background. It's really nice stuff, and it has one of my favorite lines in the song, which is, "I pray for you, and you know I don't like Jesus," which is just fantastic. And yeah, Soak, I don't know much about them beyond this one song. I want to listen to more of them, though, because they're pretty good.
I felt soaked in the melody, and this was a vibe song. I really dug this. This opened my eyes to another artist I want to check out. When I saw SOAK, sometimes my eyes will move the letters around, or I'll see a different letter if I'm not focused enough. So for a moment, I'm like, oh, SOAD, we're going to do some System of a Down. Okay, cool. But then I was like, oh, this is not that. I don't think. Yeah, I really like this. This seemed like, it seemed like something I should have heard in like a movie, like a trailer to something or a soundtrack to something. This is an artist I definitely would like to check out more. They still seem relatively young and relatively new. So I'd like to jump on this train for sure.
Yeah, I think this song came out like a few weeks after their 19th birthday. So they were quite young at the time. And since then, they've gone on to do a couple more albums. And they've all gotten very good reviews. So yeah, it looks like there's a very bright future ahead for Soak. But all right, Aaron, what's your next pick?
So my next pick, big wrestling ties here.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely NXT's favorite artist. The Mariah Rose Pereira, also known as Poppy, That Poppy. Internet celebrity turned pop artist turned metal artist. I went with her song Scary Mask. But of course, this song also features Fever 333 as well for the backing vocals and the music. And this song was featured on NXT in 2019 during that period where Poppy was playing Io Shirai down to the ring. And I think if they don't bring her back for her WrestleMania entrance this year, it's a crime. I think for some reason Poppy and Io go great together. This is one of the first songs that kind of heralded Poppy's switch over from a very bubblegum pop sound in her first EP and her first album into her second album, which featured one heavier song called X, and then the follow-up EP that contains this song called Choke really ushered in what's been her most consistent musical style, which is this blend of heavy guitars, metal, scream, and flourishes of that pop aesthetic that she's really made her name for. And I think this is one of the earliest songs to really capture what she was going for over the next few years of her career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard for me to envision Poppy outside of the NXT sphere. Like, she's so ingrained in that show that's weird to see, like, oh yeah, she's an actual career outside of all that stuff, but yeah, look, this is not really for me. The industrial screamo is a bit too much. It's not my speed, and she does have a nice voice. Like at the beginning of the song, before it goes crazy and it's just her singing, that's nice. But when it goes into sicko mode, I do have to tap out there, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Poppy is for the sickos, for sure. She's gravitated on a few albums towards... she's also shown flourishes of 90s alternative in the style of like Garbage and whatnot. But this seems to be the sound that she always comes back in. And I don't know, Andrew, you may want to stay away because it gets harder from here. She definitely has gone harder in other songs, which has created a whole YouTube genre of metalheads listening to Poppy and discounting her until she goes into full sicko mode and winning them over. I appreciate that she's really, as an artist, I think, taken her career in her own hands. If you look into her story, there is definitely a lot of the kind of internet fame that she rose to by doing this robotic character, doing videos in a completely white space, being very mysterious and building her own cult-like lore, just breaking away from some of the collaborators that she had during that time and really focusing more on music than video production on YouTube. It's really been an interesting journey to be on, to see her go through so many different iterations of herself to where she finds herself now as the queen of screamo and the queen of metal.
Well, I was surprised to find out that Poppy is originally from Boston. She was born here and grew up here, and then she moved to Nashville as a teenager. So she's one of my own. I feel so conflicted, Aaron, that I should be like John Cena and embrace the hate, embrace the Poppy. I don't know what to do, Aaron.
Yeah, you have to find your own scary mask, put it on.
Yeah, maybe I'll lose some more hair like Cena's doing now, and I'll be good to go, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, just take a razor right in the back. Just big circle.
Exactly, yeah. All right, my next pick here. This is a British trio called The Police. And they are made up of the drummer, Stuart Copeland. Cope, there he is again.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, the rated R drummer star, Stuart Copeland. Andy Summers, the guitarist. And on vocals and bass, if I may do my best Tony Schiavone impression here, it's Sting! Which is a much cooler name than Gordon Sumner, I will say. So yeah, this is from The Police's 1980 album Zenyatta Mondata. This is Driven to Tears.
Seems that when some innocent die, all we can offer them is a page in some magazine. Too many cameras and not enough food. This is what we've seen. Driven to tears. Driven to tears.
So first of all, I just want to acknowledge the photo of the two Stings hanging out together on stage. That's such a great photo. But I also just love both Stings, the wrestler and the musician. And I love the Police as well. They're one of those bands that really packed a lot into their career. The original run was, I believe, just 7 years. And in that time, they had 5 albums, a ton of hits and great songs. And another band that really had such a cool blend of styles. You've got the punk influence, reggae, new wave. And you can hear all of those in this song. And I picked this song kind of randomly, but I realize now just how prescient it is lyrically, because it's about a call for political activism and to get people to stop ignoring the woes of the world. Protest is futile. Nothing seems to get through. What's to become of our world? Who knows what to do? And boy howdy, that seems to ring true in this day and age, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this band, and they're really great, Erin.
Yeah, this is another one where I'm going to show my hand as not being the biggest Police fan. I was one of those little kids who was really confused. As a 10-year-old little Stinger, I got very confused about this band, The Police, that also featured Sting. I think it's always a little bit of a disappointment when you're a child and you see, oh, there's another Sting, and it's that guy. It's one of those discographies I always mean to go back and listen to, but for some reason I don't. For no particular reason at all. More than, I get laser focused on a particular set of artists, and then it takes me a long time to break out of that and listen to other things. So this is a band that's always been on my, I should really listen to them, because I know the big hits, and I've never been a fan of the Police big hits like Roxanne or Message in a Bottle, or songs that I just don't really like. I don't really like Every Breath You Take. So the song Everyone Knows never hits for me. But I'm sure if I looked further into their discography, I would find some stuff that would.
Yeah, again, with Alice Cooper, there's a lot of good stuff there beyond just the greatest hits. Really, I think what needs to happen, though, is for Sting, the musician, to do a cover of Man Called Sting. It's gotta happen, Aaron. We gotta wish this into the world.
He can even change the lyrics if he wants to talk about Tantra and whatnot.
Yeah. He does this, he does that. He has sex for hours at a time. We'll workshop it, you know?
Yeah, that's a hit.
Yeah. But all right, Aaron, what is your second to last pick of the episode?
My second to last pick, going back to more LGBT artists, picking a fellow trans woman, known formerly as, still known to some extent as Faye Fadum from originally formerly a drummer for the band Thank You Scientists. Their current project, though, is under the name Trust Fund Ozu. This is a cover song of a song by the band Boa that appeared on her most recent album. This is Duvet.
And you don't seem to understand. A shame you seem an honest man. And all that feels you hold so dear. Well, time to whisper in your ear. And you know I've been saying it how it go. And you know that it beats on my heart. And you don't even feel like that. I am falling. I am fading. I am lost in love. And you don't see the light caught on. Ashamed that I can't read your mind. And all the things that I read there can't convince my own that we both share. And you know I don't mean to hurt you. And you know that it means so much. And you don't even feel like that. I am falling. I am fading.
Okay, so I chose this because I really love the original song by Boa, Duvet, which appeared at the as the credit song for the anime Serial Experiments Lain, which was a mid-90s anime about a young girl who bonds way too closely with the internet, and over the course of the series becomes one with the internet. And it's definitely an anime that has been very popular with among not just anime fans, but particularly LGBTQ folk and alternative folk, groups of people who have really embraced the internet around the turn of the century, this millennial generation that really grew up with it. So when I saw that she covered it, it was a cover that made all the sense in the world to me. This is very much in the glitch pop, hyper pop realm, which is where she applies her trade. And if you look into Trust Fund Ozu, you'll also notice that a couple of years ago, she had a little roundabout with one J.K. Rowling, another person using a stage name. And that got her most mainstream attention was for writing a antagonistic diss track to Rowling as that author has become increasingly radicalized, which I won't go into too much in this forum, but you can find through a couple Google searches. So I really respect her Trust Fund Ozu's phase gumption to write songs to power, especially as her community and my community becomes under fire by some of the richest people in the world. So hats off, and I think this is a really fun hyperpop version of this song that's really loved by a lot of people in various marginalized communities that enjoy the internet. And if you've ever been around a group of trans women, 75% of them will probably be computer programmers. So it all makes sense.
Well, I appreciate you laying down some knowledge with this one, because I was a bit lost here. I mean, the vocals alone are just so processed and muddled under the music that I couldn't understand them. And the song itself is all over the place. It's fast, it's slow, it's electronica one moment, it's more rock the next. It's a wild romp, Erin. So I appreciate you filling me in on that. It's, a cover and the anime and all that stuff there, Erin.
Yeah, it's all over the place. The original song, if you just look it up, it's by the band Boa, off their I believe 1997-1998 album of the same name, Duvet, which in its original form is a very straightforward, slightly somber pop song, which I do recommend checking out. It's very atmospheric in its original form. This is just putting it through the grinder of young millennial hyperpop. So I enjoyed the ride.
Mm-hmm. Well, my second to last pick here, this is a lady named Eunice Wayman. And when she started out, she didn't want her mother to know she was playing the devil's music. So she changed her name to Nina Simone. And this is from 1965. This is her version of Feeling Good.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me, yeah. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me. Woo, woo, woo. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good.
I have to say again, going from Trust Fund Ozu to Nina Simone is such an insane jump, but that's why I love the show. It's things like that. But yeah, I've played Nina on the show before. Her voice is just so amazing and so powerful. And when that song starts with just her a cappella, you're waiting for the band to come in. But it's also like, this could be entirely a cappella, and I'd be totally fine with that. but when the band does come in with the bum, but it does take it up a notch. And there have been plenty of other versions of Feeling Good over the years. I know Muse is a good version of it, but hers was the first big one, and I think it's still one of, if not the best version of the song, Aaron.
Yeah, I had the exact same thought that you did when I was listening to this. I'm like, I hope there's never any instrumentation to this. This is beautiful. Definitely familiar with Nina Simone, whether it, Strange Fruit, Wild as the Wind, I Put a Spell on You, a lot of the songs that people would be familiar with. It's just, the vocals in this are just wonderful. It's really beautiful. And even though these artists that we've listened to back here are in completely different universes, and two different, completely radical different versions of the country they grew up in, both two people in some ways speaking out on their, civil rights and people pushing back against them to different degrees. So there is some kind of through line. But just, yeah, Nina just has this incredible voice, and I really appreciated just listening to this. And when the music does come in, I almost feel this like build up and march-like quality to it that really elevates and just kind of lifts up just a little bit higher the vocals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great music for like when you're walking into a ballroom, or walking down some grand staircase all slowly and in a nice dress or whatever. So yeah, it's really classic music. It's classic sounding, but it still sounds great to this day for sure. But yeah, all right. Erin, what is your last pick of the episode?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay a little bit further back in musical history than I think I have for a number of my choices here. This is from Elvis Costello off his album This Year's Model. It's Radio Radio.
Shining the light, night dial, doing anything my radio advised. With every one of those late night stations playing songs, bringing tears to my eyes. I was seriously thinking about hiding the receiver when the switch broke, 'cause it's old. They're saying things that I can hardly believe. They really think we're getting out of control. Radio is a sound salvation. Radio is cleaning up the nation. They say you better listen to the voice of reason. But they don't give you any choice, 'cause they think that it's treason. So you had better do as you were told. You better listen to the radio.
You better do as you were told. You better listen to the radio. One of my favorite couplets and one of my favorite little snippets of Elvis Costello lyrics. I thought this was really pertinent right now because we just had the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live, and he famously broke into this song during his initial Saturday Night Live appearance, unplanned, instead of singing
Less Than Zero.
Less Than Zero, which was originally planned. And it did get him exiled from the show for a decade plus. This is a song just rebelling against a little bit of commercialization in the radio industry and the control of music and the proliferation of music that the radio would have had. So it ties very much back into the discussion of musical rights and whatnot that we mentioned with Poe earlier. You can imagine if Elvis Costello was younger in his career today, we could sing about the pennies that streamers give artists and whatnot. I think it's a very classic song. The initial melody and riffs up right off the top is classic Elvis Costello and the Attractions. Just an insanely prolific artist. You could do a whole podcast series going through his entire career, but I think this is just one of the most seminal songs, especially when you're talking about artist rights and rebelling against commercialization of music. You have to include this song. And of course, this Elvis Costello was a pseudonym, I was gonna say handle like it's the internet. Was a name he used, real name Declan Patrick McManus, which is actually a name you could imagine popping up on NXT as someone. The Irish Wonder, Declan McManus. So look out for that guy on Evolve. But yeah, for my last choice, I just wanted to go with this song, which I think is really transcended.
Yeah, I mean, it takes some guts to, pick a stage name and have it be Elvis. I mean, after everything that other guy did, it takes a lot of balls to...
I had a professor, sorry to interrupt. I had a professor, we were reading Less Than Zero in one of my college courses, and he got to talking about Elvis Costello, and he said, people sometimes say Elvis Costello isn't punk, and I would say, no, of course he's punk. His album came out, that first album came out 2 weeks after Elvis Presley died, and there he is on the cover, posed like Elvis with a microphone, with that name on the top. That's punk. He did not care. So I always thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's also punk to go after the BBC and what people were allowed to play, on the radio and listen to. And it's also punk to go on SNL, this giant American TV show, and just, stop your performance partway through and say, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, there's no reason to do this song here. And then tell your band, radio, radio, and they play the song and then get banned from the show for 10 years. That's pretty punk. So, and it's funny, when SNL did the 25th anniversary show, the Beastie Boys were playing Sabotage, and then Elvis Costello just comes in, stops them, goes, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, there's no reason to do this song here, and then they play Radio Radio, which, was a really cool moment there.
Yeah.
But as far as his real name goes, I learned what that was years ago on an episode of 30 Rock.
Oh.
It was an episode called Kidney Now, where Alec Baldwin's character, Jack Donaghy, is trying to get his dad a kidney, and he decides to produce a charity song. So he gathers Elvis Costello, Clay Aiken, and Mary J. Blige together for a meeting to kind of spearhead it. And I brought a clip from that scene.
One song, one man, one kidney.
Let me get this straight. You want us to do a charity concert for one guy?
Elvis, haven't you said that if a song reaches just one person, you've done your job?
No, I've never said that.
Fine. Listen, the man who needs the kidney is my father. We just met, and I don't want to lose him before I get a chance to know him. Please, I'm asking for your help. Okay, let's cut to the chase. MJ, you owe me. Who got you out of a 20-year exclusive performance contract at SeaWorld? Aiken, your cousin Kenneth Parcell already promised me you'd do this. And Elvis, or should I say Declan McManus, international art thief?
Okay, Jack Donaghy, you tumbled me. We'll do it.
So yeah, despite having a really long and influential career with some great music, I will always think of Elvis Costello as Declan McManus, international art thief. Every single time. I can't help it.
Wonderful. I had not heard that before, but I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it's great. All right, well, my last pick here. This is a gothic queen, Susan Ballion, a.k.a. Susie Sue, and that's spelled Siouxsieux, and she is, of course, the front woman of Susie and the Banshees. This is from their 1991 album Superstition, and this is the big single from that, Kiss Them For Me. So I know I just called her a gothic queen, but I also picked one of her least gothic sounding songs. This bubbly dance pop hit, but it's so good. It's so good. I love the influence of the South Asian music in there, and the chorus just hits you right in that sweet spot. But still, it's light, fun music with a dark story, because it's about the actress Jane Mansfield, who is this gorgeous beauty queen who had a pink mansion, and that's referenced in the song. And it's also referenced that she died in a car accident. That's how the song ends. On the road to New Orleans, a spray of stars hit the screen. As the 10th impact shimmered, the forbidden candles beamed. So there is that gothic edge in there. It's just in the story more than the actual sound there. But still a pretty great song there, Erin.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I've definitely heard this song before. For some reason, it never clicked with me, like who it was by or the fact that it's that kind of sad. This is one that I would dance to, and then when you're dancing, do you dance to this after you know what it's about, or do you stop dancing and be like, why am I dancing? Like, to tie it into the Scissor Sisters, I don't feel like dancing. Like, this is too sad. But it's one of those songs that I know I've heard like dozens of times, but it never clicked with me with who it was. So I appreciate now knowing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, it's not indicative of her entire catalog. But even her back catalog, which is, darker in sound, is still pretty good and catchy. Cities and Dust, Spellbound. She has these great covers of The Passenger by Iggy Pop and Dear Prudence by the Beatles. She's quite the singer, and she's still active too. I know the Banshees broke up quite a while ago, but she's still out there doing her solo work. So, good for her. But, all right, well, those were our picks. That was the episode. Erin, thank you so much for being here. This was a lot of fun, playing all of these artists who, may not use their birth name in their career, but we still enjoy them and enjoy their music, no matter what name they use.
Yeah, the names might not be theirs when they were born, but it's the names they will carry with them forever.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Any plugs you want to give? Go right ahead.
Yeah, I currently don't make any content on my own, but you can catch me on the latest 5-star match game. I also believe I have some. I recorded a show with Lee from the Days of Thunder pod that should be out here before too long. In the next few weeks or so, going over some. I subjected him to a playlist solely curated by myself. So that should be a lot of fun. Otherwise, you can catch me on the Voices of Wrestling Discord. You can catch me on Twitter at Miss Erin Quinn, MS Erin Quinn. Or you can catch me over with the Wokes on Bluesky, where I managed to get just Erin Quinn. And as one of the Wokes, I am also over there. So that's where you can catch me, and you can always drop me a line. My DMs are open, as the kids say.
That's right. That's right. That's how I got you on the show. It's through the Discord DMs.
True.
So yeah, there you go. But yeah. So Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, voicesofwrestling.com for all of the other shows, episodes, previews, reviews, articles, things like that. Bluesky at Music of the Mat at Just Andrew. If you want to leave a comment about this episode or share your picks, again, as Erin said, voicesofwrestling.com/Discord. That's also where I post the Spotify playlist for each episode. And, make sure you subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice, and leave a nice rating and review. All right, the playout song for this episode, I feel kind of bad because the rap genre has tons and tons and tons of guys who use gimmick names, but we didn't have a lot of rap in this episode. So let's go out with a duo of rappers, Andre Benjamin and Antoine Patton, a.k.a. Andre 3000 and Big Boy. It's Outkast off of their big album Stankonia. This is Miss Jackson. Thanks again, Erin.
Thanks.
Yeah, go like this. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize 1,000,000,000 times. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize 1,000,000,000 times.
My baby a dramas, mama don't like me. She doing things like having the boys come from her neighborhood to the studio trying to fight me. She need to get a piece of American pie and take her bite out. That's my house. I disconnect the cable and turn the lights out and let her know her grandchild is a baby and not a paycheck. Private school, daycare, shit, medical bills, I pay that. I love your mom and everything. See, I ain't the only one who lay down. She wanna rip you up and start a custody war. My lawyer, stay down. She never got a chance to hear my side of the story. We was divided. She had fish fries and cookouts for my child's birthday. I ain't invited. Despite it, I show her the utmost respect when I fall through. All you do is defend that lady when I call you.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a trillion times. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. Never meant to.
Music of the Mad is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. The songs used throughout this show are property of their respective copyright holders.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of The Good, The Bad, and The Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, The Bad, and The Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.